at the grade of 1960, he was a plastic surgeon. He realized he was wondering if he may remove the nasty stuff in their face. And he noticed sometimes when he removed the scar, maybe did a job on it or something, it was a great psychological change that place in the person. Where they may have been injured, it's now gone. Isolated must be two images: the exterior image and inner self image. Mm-hmm. We started studying this. We wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Psycho-Cybernetics, cybernetics states of control and communication. Because he explains how every one of us has an image in their mind, self. It's called a self-image. Many people know much about themselves, so they don't have a very good image of themselves. You'll often notice that people will show from you, they won't look you in the eye. Do anything of any great consequence. They don't think they can. We're self-image. So we're told we're not very good because, like, when it's all false. We can do anything. We should be encouraging each other.
How can we, something specific, how can we go about making ourselves image more positive?
She would sit down and let body totally relax. Hold the image in her mind, how we'd like to see ourselves. How we'd like to see ourselves getting to the people, our social life, see ourselves in the position we hold, how we make ourselves presentations that we did something, and then take a picture and write it in the present tense. I am so happy now to see myself. People will laugh at this. Make any sense. So I can't tell you what hours telling you why. You can explain it. It's easy for everyone to understand. Put a description of how you'd like to see yourself. Start to read it. Read it. Read it. Read it every day. Carry it around. Keep reading it. One great teachers through history. They've been we become what we think. Maybe prophecy at first might even appear to us as being a lie. If you read it, believe James, believe in your belief will create the, you will see the person's personality change. Watch seminars, personality change right in front of the person. Starting to see themselves.
Welcome all, welcome to day 7. I can't believe that today is the last day of this challenge. I really cannot believe that. And I am just very emotional today because I think it's been a lovely journey with you all. It's been absolutely amazing. I've really enjoyed this with you guys. You know, the work that you have been doing, the perseverance, the effort that you have put into this challenge. I am so grateful to you all. That's what I want to start with, first of all. And I want to go all in because I know today's the last day and I want to give the most that I can today to you all. And today we'll be talking about identity. We'll be talking about the mistaken identity. But I love this quote from George Bernard Shaw, and I want to talk about this first. And he says that few people think more than twice or 3 times a year. What does he really mean? That very few people actually think. And when they think is maybe when the new year's there, you know, every new year you might think, oh my gosh, this is the year I'm going to make a difference in my life. This is the year when I'm really going to change something in my life. Or people think at a big birthday milestone, maybe they're 30, they've turned 40, and now they're like, oh my gosh, you know, what is happening in my life? I thought I'll be way further along. Or maybe that these are the wrong decisions that I've made in my life, or something or the other that they will actually think. So not the mental activity. I'm not talking about the mental activity that you keep doing. I'm really talking about putting a real good thought into something that, what will I do about my life? You know, I'm turning this, or as I said, it could be on the New Year's. It could be on a special birthday milestone. It could be when someone becomes a parent, they start all of a sudden thinking, oh my gosh, I've got this child. How am I going to really give the best to my child in life? And so they really start thinking about things. Or maybe even when your children are growing up. For me, again, like I said, one of the biggest whys in my life was my children at the starting. Like, I really wanted to give them the best of life. I wanted them to have anything that I ever wanted or desired. And I wanted to give them the best so they don't have to think whether my parents have it or not. I really wanted that life for my kids. Sometimes health is a wake up call. For me, again, that was also one thing that really pushed me into personal development, that really pushed me into like, what am I doing with my life? Where is it going? So maybe, that's when, like, I'm just giving you certain ideas when a person really starts thinking in their life. Sometimes it could be a financial crisis, right? Again, that was also part of my life. So, like with children was my why, financial crisis was a why in my life, that I really started thinking, what am I going to do about this? Am I going to really do something about this, or am I going to just sit like this and not do anything about it? So you really, like, these types of milestones in life and problems in life sometimes really put us into, what am I actually doing? And it forces us to think. Sometimes we are so occupied in a life that we do not even know where it's going. We're living a life on a default. And sometimes scenarios like this, they happen for a reason, because it forces us to really think and think in the best way possible for us. Sometimes also losing a loved one could really make you think. Again, that was also one of the things, right? When I lost my mother 12 years ago, I think it's a death anniversary tomorrow, actually, and I'm already very emotional about it. So it's going to be 12 years. And I think my really awakening started after that, when I lost her, because it was so sudden. She was only 64 when she passed away. So that also was my, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Because my mother left a legacy behind. She did a lot of charity work. She really utilized her life in, making an impact. And I was here doing nothing. And I was like, wow. And when she passed away, I think that was another big shock to me. So all of these times in a life makes us realize, especially when my mom passed away, it made me realize my time is also very limited on this earth, right? And how am I going to use it? How am I going to make the most in this time? What is the impact that I want to create in my life? So all of these things will happen. These milestones will happen. Birthdays will come. Losing someone would happen. Your finances, it could be your health. That will really make you think in life. Like, what is happening in my life, right? And am I just going to allow this to happen, or am I going to really do something about this? So that is one thing I feel that forces us to think. So ask yourself, does that happen in your life? Do you really think maybe 2 or 3 times a year, not more than that, maybe 4 times a year? Because we do not. We are just so caught up in our lives. We are so caught up in how everything is going on that we just don't realize what's happening. And then it becomes too late. And that's what my whole thing for you is. Do not let it go past. If you made a promise this year that I'm going to make it happen, like 2026 is going to be my year, then do something about it. It's not just going to happen with wishful thinking. It's just not going to happen with, oh, I would love something to happen in my life. You have to do something about it. I had to do literally something physically about it. I had to take a step towards it. Likewise, you will have to take a step towards it. So make a decision today that, you know what, no matter what, I am not going to repeat the same patterns of my life. I'm not going to repeat the same cycle of my life again and again. And ask yourself, aren't you really tired of that? And I love Joe Dispenza's work, because he also always says this, right? That we are living the same pattern over and over. We think the same thoughts again and again. We have the same emotions again and again. We feel the same emotions. We have the same thoughts. We have the same choices and same results. So what do you think that is? Expecting a different results, but doing the same thing. That's the definition of insanity. That will never happen. And that's why people are stuck in the same loop again and again, guys. It's the same loop. You're thinking the same thoughts, you're feeling the same things, you're still making the same choices, and you're getting the same results. Think about it. That's why I'm asking you to think. I'm not asking you to do the mental activity. And remember what I spoke about. What is real thinking? Real thinking happens when you really utilize the 6 mental faculties. So start imagining a better life for yourself. First of all, make a decision. I think that's the first thing you need to make. And I'm not talking about a normal decision. I'm asking you to make a committed decision that no matter what happens in my life, I am not stopping. Today I will talk a lot about identity. And as I said, identity is a very big piece. And it's like a cherry on the cake because everything comes down to that piece of identity. And when you're really talking about identity and when you're thinking about your own identity later on, the first thing that has to happen is you have to start making decisions, not from your current reality, but where you want to be in life. So ask yourself and let me know in the chat, how many of you are making decisions from your current reality? If you are making decisions from your current reality, guess what? You'll get your current results in life. You cannot. That's one of the biggest things about identity. You have to start showing up. You have to start making decisions from where you want to be in life. That's what I did, right? When I wanted to, and that's what I think we all do. But again, it's a choice you have to make. When you want to become fit and healthy, right? People do not think, oh, when I go become healthy, then I'm going to go to gym. No, you make a decision that I'm going to be healthy in my life. You start going to the gym, you start adopting healthy habits. Then the results come. Likewise, first you have to make a decision. Am I done with this type of life? Or am I just going to live like this again and again? So you have a story that you keep telling yourself on the loop. And today, I want you all to let go of that story, because if you keep thinking the same story, you keep living in the same identity. So for example, if your story is, oh, it's me, or your story is why me, or your story is why does it always happen to me, or your story is, this is always happening to me, this is my life, this is what it is. Guess what? You're recreating that again and again, again and again. Same pattern. You do not like your story. You know that. You do not like your current story. You do not like your current results, but you keep living in those results again and again. You keep living in that story again and again. Why? Because you have just got this mistaken identity about yourself. And today I will be sharing everything about that identity. Like, why do you have this mistaken identity? How to let go of that mistaken identity? So I will be sharing 7 steps with you today. So who's excited, by the way? Who's excited for that? 7 steps of how to let go, but also how to really embody this new identity, because it is so important. So type in the chat if you're ready for the word identity. Like, type the word identity, that yes, I'm going to do this in my life. No matter what, I do not need to know the how, I do not need to know when, but I'm going to actually make this difference in my life. And I'm going to start it with identity in my life. So I'm going to do that with you. And I know many of you are stuck because you're stuck in that loop. You do not know where the breakthrough point is. Today, I'll show you how to step into that identity and really, really break through. But before I do that, I have got someone special with me today, because I wanted to invite them to show how they are changing their identity in life. What are they doing that is giving them different results? So I just want to invite someone. So Gups, would you love to come online, maybe unmute yourself and come off your camera so people can see you? And yeah, hello. So
Hi.
happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm really, really excited to have you here. Okay, so I've got a few questions that I would like to ask you, Gups.
Okay.
So let's start. I think it will be very good. First of all, it's so good to have you. First of all, I want you to introduce yourself to people. Maybe just introduce yourself. What do you do? What work do you do?
Thank you, Gagan. I'm Gopinder, and I am a prescribing pharmacist by background, and I own a franchise of a IV vitamin drip company called Get a Drip. So we do IV vitamin drips, injections, vitamin injections, leg compression, blood testing, those type of services. And I literally started the business in May of last year. And so I've been working with you since summer. So in the middle of the
Summer, I think it was autumn.
autumn, yeah, September,
November,
right?
October.
Something like that, yeah.
October,
So
I
like
think.
halfway
Yeah.
into the program now.
Yeah.
But you've been a pivotal part of my journey, and me stepping into that version of myself, and that identity that I see myself being in my business, who I'm achieving or wanting to become to be successful in my business.
So I just want to ask you a few questions, if that's okay by you. First of all, my question to you is, where were you before you started working with me? Like, where were you in your life, right? What was happening in your life it could be personal, I do not know, professional. What were you going through that made you decide that, I've had enough maybe, or maybe I want to change, or maybe were you stuck in a place where you thought change was not even possible for me? I do not know. So where were you in your life?
I was definitely in the midst of change already. I'd quit my full-time pharmacist job. I'd started this business. I'd already made some big, bold, brave moves, right?
Yeah.
But I knew deep down inside that there was certain beliefs that I had that weren't going to match the person that I need to be successful in my business. And that's where I needed help. To be very honest, I don't think I know what I needed help with at that time. But when I saw you, heard of you, heard about what you do, it's like the penny dropped and I realized this is the missing piece. It's not something I've ever heard of before, but this is what I needed to do. I needed someone to help me to change the way that I think, because
Yeah.
ultimately my thinking is what's causing my current reality. So I wouldn't say I was stuck or not wanting to change. I was definitely changing, but also in that mindset and the energy of wanting to change and being the better version of myself and not knowing how to get there.
Oh, I love that. Okay. And so what changed for you? What did you do that things started changing for you? I think that's another thing people don't realize, that, okay, it's not just, yeah, you're changing your thinking and everything, but what were you doing that was changing your results in life?
So the TIR program had a massive, massive impact on that, because I knew I needed to change the way I was thinking, but I just didn't know how. For me, the biggest thing was learning how to believe. Not even learning how to believe, just believing. If things were going wrong, my natural reaction is to overthink and think the worst, and like you said, if you think the worst is what's going to happen. So it was learning that I had a choice, to think in that moment, what do I really want versus what am I actually seeing happening in reality. That is the biggest shift. I'm not saying I've mastered it at all, but I know that it works, because not only has my business somehow it's still on an upward trajectory. My revenue has only been going up, and that is despite big challenges that could have really not, really hindered my business and not given me any business. But some way, somehow, my business has grown. And it's because of that mindset, it's because of the trust, it's because of the belief, it's because of actually, what do I want? What do I really want? And who do I need to step into being to get there?
Yeah. And I think you've just started doing identity, like literally just this week. Probably you're stepping into identity this week. But I know we still work on identity. I know you've not started in the lesson, but we do work a lot on identity. And what would you say that identity has, or stepping into that identity, because today is all about identity, like what behaviors or what, how is it different to your old version of you? That's what I want to ask. Like, what is this new version that you're stepping into? How is that so different? And what are the changes that you're noticing in yourself?
I think it's the perception that I had of myself. So the perception that I had of myself was actually very negative, which I didn't realize, because when you take bold, brave moves in life, you think, yeah, I've got this, right? But actually, the internal dialogue is what was holding me back. And it's that internal dialogue that I had to really face.
Yeah.
And then learn how to change it.
Yeah, I think that is very important, because we think we're thinking positive. Like, I'm a positive person, and yes, right, that's what probably you
Yes.
were. Like, that's what I was. Like, I've always been a positive person, but we don't realize, in that's a mask we wear, right? Yes, we all have got positive personalities, and that's a good thing. But positivity is not going to get you anywhere. Positivity is not going to change your results of life, because deep down, you still hold this image of yourself, which is actually very negative, which is full of judgment, which is full of guilt, probably shame, and all of those negative things, I would say. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I'm outwardly positive, but my internal dialogue was 100% negative.
And what would you say to the version of you back in September, October, probably, who didn't, I know you said you believe change was possible, right? You actually were like that. But what would you say to that version of you who was sitting on the fence, or maybe there are some people who are watching you who are on the fence of, is it really possible to change my life? Is it really, is change even possible? Like, can that happen? What would your advice be to them?
Firstly, I want to congratulate myself because I actually didn't listen to that voice and I went ahead and did it, right? Best decision I made. But yeah, I mean, there's always that hesitation, right?
Yeah.
And if I was to go back and have to have a stern word with myself at that particular moment, it would be, what is the worst that is going to happen? Like I'm a worst case scenario person, or I was a worst case scenario person. So if I didn't do anything about it, I would have stayed where I was. And so by doing something means that something had to change.
Yeah.
And it was, do you want to stay here stuck, or do you want to get yourself out of it? And if you want to get yourself out of it, you need to do something, and you need to do something now. So
And I
that's
love that, because you have to do something now. I think when we go with that decision that I have, and that's what my whole thing is to everyone who's watching it, whether it's on recording, whether you're live, because you have to make that decision. Being stuck, you're already being stuck for so long. And nothing moves until you really make that committed decision. I think that is something very powerful, Gabs, because that is when things will really shift in life. And I really, really believe that. Because that is the truth. Like, I was stuck for 40 plus years of my life, right? In the same type of thought pattern, same feelings, same thing. And I was creating the same. Like Joe Dispenza talks about this, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he's saying we are creating the same life again and again because, first of all, we don't even realize. I think that's the thing. We don't even realize what thoughts am I thinking. We're not even thinking. It's a mental activity that's literally going on in the mind continuously. Or like for you, Gabs, it was overthinking, right? Overthinking the worst case scenarios. And I think that is something we've really worked on. Like, yeah, really, really worked on. Like, you can't just think of the worst case scenario. You're putting your energy anyway. So it's like, directing it to the right direction, what you want. And how would you say thinking into results has helped you so far? I know you're just halfway through, not even halfway through. Like, but how do you would say it has helped you on this journey, whether it's personally or professionally? I don't know.
Personally, it's really helped me with giving me some real tools to really understand myself, not on a surface level, on a very, very deep level. It's a very personal journey. And professionally, I've already said that the results are coming. They're happening as we speak. And it's like, you don't realize how much of it is actually inside job. It's actually nothing to do with other people or other circumstances. Once you see that or understand that, you can then take the right steps to get out of that. And that's what the program has done for me. It's really, really made me look at myself properly with no filter, no, you have to face the good, bad, and the ugly, and really, and do the work. It's not an easy journey, but if you want a result, it requires that amount of depth.
And I always say that, like, the work has to be done. Like, right, a book doesn't have, or anything does not have arms, legs. You have to do the work. But this works. That's the thing. If you work it, it just works. And I think that's the most powerful thing about thinking into results. It's going to work. But you have to also do the work about it. I've just got one or two questions, Gabs, from you. One, Gabs will be like, oh my gosh, so many questions. Because I think you're a very logical person, right? That was, I remember our first conversation, very, very logical.
Yes.
And anyone because some people think, first of all, I think a couple of things. First, some people think it's only for business, this program, right? And I want to tell people it's not. It's for anything and everything in your life. It's not just, it's a way you live your life then. So that's my first question. What's your opinion on that? Or what's your views on that? And second thing I want to ask you is about, I'll ask the second thing first. You answer the first thing because I think the second thing is just.
I know.
So why don't you answer the first one, and then the second thing will come to me by then.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so the first thing, the first question is definitely more of a personal journey than a business one. The business outcomes are just a absolute bonus. Because like I said before, you have to really go inwards and really be honest with yourself and that work is the hardest work, but it doesn't just help you with business, it helps you on a personal level as well. Like I really deeply understand myself. I'm getting to know myself. But also the great thing is I'm learning about who I want to be. And what is powerful is that you can change who you want to be at any point once you know how.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest shift. There was also something else that you said that I was like, I really wanted to touch on that, and I can't remember what it was either. It was something you said in the sentence. Yeah.
My second question, maybe it will come in the second question. My second thing that I really wanted to ask you was about, many people have this, I won't say it's a myth, but they have this worry or a doubt or a question in their mind that is this going to last, this result in their life? Or is it something just it's a temporary thing? Like, yeah, so that's my thing. Because you've not even finished the program, you're halfway through, but I'm sure you can see the impact. Like, so some people are like, oh, I've tried a lot of things before in my life, I know what to do, I know it all, but nothing, they don't have the results. And so from that perspective, but also about what's your view? Do you think you can ever be that old version of you ever again?
Brilliant question. And the answer is 100% no. I do not recognize myself from even like when we first started. I can't remember who that person was because now I've already evolved and changed into someone else. Not that I'm not near the person that I want to be, but I'm definitely on the journey now, And so, you can't go back once you've learned the laws of the universe, which I didn't know before this program. You realize it's like an awakening. It's like you've been asleep for so long, and then you like like the big secret, which isn't really a secret, but you don't, when you haven't had the tools to do it. I was that person, Gagan. I was that person that had done lots of different coaching programs, and I wouldn't say that I thought I knew everything. That wasn't me, but I'd tried a lot of things, and I was getting to the point where I thought nothing else is going to work. And that's why this was so different. And it didn't take me long to make that decision with you because it is so different. I've not seen anything else like it out there. And yeah, it's so transformative. I can't remember who I was before. I don't ever want to go back to who I was before. It's all about looking forward and becoming that version of me.
Yeah, I am actually looking forward to seeing that final, like not final, because I don't think we can ever be a final version because we're always evolving, ever growing. But I've actually absolutely loved and enjoyed every bit of working with you. But any final, maybe things that are coming to you that you want to say to the audience? I do not know anything that's coming to you that you would love to say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, likewise, it's an absolute pleasure to work with you. I love your energy. You have an answer to any question, and I feel like I have a lot of questions.
Good. I'm glad I can answer all of them.
Yeah, like it's just it's incredible. I love the energy that you bring. I love the accountability that you hold us to. I love the support, the over and above support that you give to all of us. It's outstanding. There's the reason why you're in the top 1% of like coaches for TIR. That's not an easy title to have. I look up to you in so many ways because of the success that you've had in your own business. It's just incredible. And, your vulnerability as well, and in sharing your story and sharing your journey, it's inspiring. And, we all wouldn't be where we are, everyone that's on your program at the moment, if it wasn't for you. So I just wanted to say a massive thank you. And I didn't mean to make it's the truth though. I'm just saying exactly what is the absolute truth. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm so glad that the journey's not over yet though, because like, it's just, I'm loving the process,
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. No, I don't think I've got any more questions for you. So, but I don't know if anyone's got, but of course they can't ask. But thank you so much, Gabs. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our call.
Thanks, Gagan.
Thank you so much for sharing up.
No worries.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
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 So guys, I want you to take the opportunity and book the call, and the reason I'm asking you to book this call is because if you have not done, we have opened some more slots for you because we had so much influx of people wanting to book more calls. So book your call if you have not done so, because I want you to know that change is possible for you. Everything that you've been waiting for is right there. So do not wait. Make that committed decision that what do you want in your life? And as I said, on this call, it's all about you. What do you want? Where are you going? Have you got the right C type goal? Like I remember I had a call with someone. I told them your goal is not right because it's important to have the right goal in life. Maybe sometimes you are oversetting the goal as well, right? And I would say, no, first let's go to the first base per camp goal and then you move to the other one. So I think it's very important for you. You're not doing this for me or anyone else, but it is for yourself to book this call, to see whether you have the right goal, what is stopping you in moving forward in life, and then see if we can help you on that journey. So just these 3 steps that's going to happen on that. So it is for you. Book that call. We have opened like some slots, I think, for Tuesday maybe, and I think we will be opening some more for possibly for Wednesday morning and Friday. So do look out on the calendar tonight. I will send it out with the link. So please make sure that you do book that call for yourself. You know, it's, as I said, it's not for anything else. If you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep living in the same identity, nothing is going to change. So let me go deep into the identity, because that is one thing I wanted to talk about today, because that is such a big piece of who are you? What's the opinion that you hold about yourself? So what I want to talk about is, first of all, what is self-image? You know, we have this outer self-image and we have this inner self-image. And this inner self-image is like a psycho-cybernetic system. So it's like, you know, the thermostat in the house we have for heating or in air conditions. And it's also something like, you know, we have it in planes, like a psycho-cybernetic system. So anytime what happens is when we have set the temperature at, you know, right now it's so cold in UK, like literally, I think it's not stopped raining, they're saying this year, like we have broken all the records. So when we have that thermostat at set at a certain temperature, and if someone leaves the door open, what's going to happen? The cold draft is going to come in. It's, you know, probably it's going to put the boiler back on because the temperature has dropped down, right? So it's going to maintain that set of temperature, whether it's 21 degrees, maybe it's 20 degrees, you've set it on, I do not know. So it will set at that temperature. Anytime something above or low happens, maybe it gets too hot or it gets too cold, the temperature, like the thermostat will take it right back to that temperature. Likewise is a self-image in life. We have this self-image, where we have this cybernetic system, which is in ourselves. And this is not me saying, by the way, this is Dr. Maxwell Maltz in psychocybernetics. And if you go and do a little bit of research, you'll also find this, that this is not just me making it up. This is science that backs it up, right? So when we have the psychocybernetic system within ourselves, and our self-image is that psychocybernetic system, we can't outperform it. We cannot, until unless we really create a new identity that is going to change it. So, and that's the reason, if you see a lot of lottery winners, right? I was explaining it with a stick person the other day as well. A lot of lottery winners, majority of them, they go back to their old jobs. Why? Because they've not changed their identity. They have not changed how they see themselves. And, you know, your mind is like this machine. It is this machine that is operating in a certain way, and the rules to develop a solid self-image. When you develop that solid self-image to achieve your goals, you have to create a winning self-image. Think about it. If right now you have this self-image about yourself, which is not about winning, which is always about I'm a loser in life. You know, things are always delayed in my life. Things are never happening in my favor in life. And all of that is self-image that you hold about yourself. How long do you think you can create success? Even if you create, it's going to go, because you've not changed the identity. How many times do you hear like a business owner will do really well and then they will go boom, like, you know, nothing, probably they'll go boom first in a good way and then it's all gone. Why? Because they've not changed their self-image about themselves. So today I'm going to talk about rules for winning self-image. Although I've explained it to you, when you are creating this self-image, you have to start imagining yourself as this version of you, you know, like who has achieved this goal. How does this version of you think? How does this version of you feel? How does this version of you act and decide? Like, how do they show up on a day-to-day basis? Are they reacting to life? Are they responding to life? So in those moments, you are seeing whether you're operating from your old identity or your new identity. But to create a new identity first, it's so important to understand what are the rules for creating a winning self-image. Because anyone will tell you, that how to create a new self-image. But many people do not understand what is important for you to first let go of to step into this new self-image. So first one is letting go of the past. Remember what I said, what Dr. Maxwell Maltz was saying. A lot of people are not 99.9% of the people in the world are creating, living their same life. They have the same thought pattern. They have the same emotions. They are, they are living the same pattern again and again. Why? Because they are majority of the time they're thinking about their past. They live in their past. And I want you to ask yourself, aren't you living in your past? Probably yes. You're thinking about what probably happened when you were 10 years old, when you were embarrassed, or probably what happened to you last week, or what happened to you yesterday. And you keep thinking about that. Why? Because there's an emotional connection there. So you really have to let go of the past. You do not have to, look at your past from a place of guilt or regret. Yes, that is something that happened in the past, but it didn't mean it happened to me. Like I remember, like I said, for 42 years and plus, I really thought I lived in guilt of what happened to me because I held myself responsible of what happened to me. Although it was not my mistake, I was only 2 when it started happening to me, or 2.5, but I always blamed myself. It happened because of this. So I always kind of stayed in that frequency of guilt and shame. And because I stayed in that frequency of guilt and shame, guess what? Again, right? Gups was talking about the laws of the universe. By law, you will attract things where you are living. So, for example, if you want to listen to 100 FM music, you have to first tune in to 100 FM. You cannot be on 94.5 FM and listen to 100 FM songs. Just not possible. You have to be on the frequency. You have to tune in to the frequency of the music where you want to listen to the radio station, right? Likewise, if I was tuned into guilt, shame, what do you think I was going to attract? Only things on that. So your mind only works by going forward, correcting the course you are going on as you go. So if you keep going in your past, it will keep taking you back in the past. But when you have this right goal, now you all have this goal now. You have all of this, you've got C-type goal, an audacious goal in your life. So then your mind has to let go of the past, like past failures. First of all, there are no failures, but if you think they were failures, let go of those past failures in your life. Because then only you will unjam your GPS system, right? Remember, I told you we all have this success mechanism in us, but we have to unjam it. So how do you unjam it? By letting go of the past. Second, I see this so much in everyone, even with my clients. Stop worrying about the future. Stop thinking about, do not spend time worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week, what's going to happen in a month's time, what's going to happen in 6 months' time or 8 years' time. I do not know. 8% of your worries will never happen. 8% never will happen. Never, no matter what, never. And so when you stop giving energy to what might not go wrong in your life, you just focus on the 24-hour. So just in your new identity now, what do you need to do? You need to focus on the next 24 hours. What am I going to show? Like, how am I going to show up in next 24 hours? What am I going to do in next 24 hours, right? So your window should be 24 hours. So stop thinking about 1 week. Stop thinking about 1 year, only just 24-hour window. If you start doing this, you're already creating a winning self-image. So first was let go of the past. Second is do not worry about the future. Really start. So third is live in the 24-hour block. Your mind can solve any problem. Do you know why? Because if the problem is there, the solution is already there. So your mind can solve any problem, overcome any obstacles, and steer you towards your goal. But it only works in the present if you're focused in the present. But remember, if you're worrying about the future, what if this is going to happen? What if that's going to happen? Nothing is going to change. So your mind only works in the present if you're focused in the present. So focus in the 24-hour block. Do not look backward. Do not worry about the future. Stay in the moment and only focus on what's happening right now. That's the art of living, right? When you start focusing on, like, I love this from Michael Beckwith. I know it's not part of this, but I use this and I think it will really benefit you to understand this. I love this ideology of Michael Beckwith. And he says, it is what it is. If you're someone who worries a lot, I want you to know this. It is what it is in life. This is how I stay in my present. This is how I want you to learn. It is what it is. You can't control anything. So it is what it is. Second, let go. So harvest the good and let go of the rest. So first point of that is, It is what it is. Second, harvest the good from what you can see. So whatever is happening in the 24-hour clock, harvest the good. And then third, let go of the rest. Do not hold on to it. And I think that is such a beautiful way of living your life. So live in the present. Do not live in the past. Do not worry about the future. Start living in the present. Fourth, I think this is very powerful. Stop making things up in your mind. You are using your imagination in such a wrong way. When you worry, or when you look back, you make things up. Oh, this might have happened. This person said to me, maybe because of this, maybe they do not like me. And you start building all of these stories in your mind. Does that resonate with you, by the way? Let me know in the chat if this is resonating with you, because this is so important for a new self-image. When you are using your imagination for the worst, like Rungaps was talking about, she used to do that. She doesn't do that anymore. But she didn't even realize that she was doing that all the time, because it's such a default system we are living by that you can't see beyond that. This is who you are, and that's your identity, because this is how you see yourself. This is how you think about yourself. So when you start creating, when you start going in your imagination, so remember what I said, we have these mental faculties. You do not know how to use them. So you are using that mental faculty, which is imagination, but you're using it in a wrong way. You're using it to create needless drama in your life. And I always say, there's something again I've learned. It's not what I say, but life is a psychological drama. Neville says life is a psychological drama. You live it in your mind and then you live it in your life. You experience it in your life. Isn't that happening? Because you keep creating these dramas in your life. You keep creating these stories in your life. Oh, if I go there, this is what's going to happen. A lot of people who've got anxiety, they're worrying about the future. How do I know? Because I've been that person. So remember I told you, for 3 times I was wheeled out of my workplace to the hospital. Why? Because I used to panic so much. I was so much I used to hyperventilate and all. Why? Because I was so much in fear about the future. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Not thinking about the present, not living in the present, but always worrying about the future. And what that was doing was, it was killing even my present today, right? It was just killing everything. So when you stick to the facts, I used to worry about what's going to happen. How do I know what's going to happen in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time? But I used to always worry about that. So when you start sticking to the facts, instead of making these needless stories in your mind, what's going to happen? And that's why I use another mental faculty of reasoning. Reason everything. I train my clients, I train myself, reason everything. Why am I believing this to be true? Where is this coming from? Why am I believing there is less money? Why am I believing in the lack? Why? Why am I believing in limitations? Why can't I be limitless? Why am I believing I can't do this? Why am I believing in fear? Why am I believing that life is not fair? Why am I believing that it's hard work? Why am I believing all of these stories? Why am I creating all of these stories in my mind? And that's what's happening. Why are you creating? Because you are living in your past. You're worrying about the future. So whatever you're dominantly emotionally involved with, that's what you will create again and again. That is why it is so important for you to get emotionally involved with where you are going. Get emotionally involved with where you are going in life, not where you have been. Right now, you are emotionally involved with probably what happened in the past. Let go. Can you go back and change anything? Oh my gosh, can you go back and change anything? No. Can you go back and fix anything in your past? No. Wish we could. But that's not possible. Why? Because it's gone. So what is the point of going back in the past again and again? Because clearly it only exists in your mind right now. You can't go back and touch your past, can you? No. Neither can you go in the future. The only thing right now you can do is in the present. So start living in the present moment. That's where you are creating your future. But what is happening is, because you live in the past, you keep recreating your past. So start living in the present moment. Make a committed decision. I'm not going to go back in my past. The fifth is, stop thinking about what people are thinking about you. Stop thinking. Because when you're thinking about when you stop worrying about what others think of you, that's when you will realize that actually they don't even think about you. They're so busy thinking about what you are thinking about them that they're not even thinking about you. So let go what people are going to think about you. I always say, I can't use the word because I'm on YouTube, F off. Why does that matter what others are thinking about you? What matters is what is your opinion about yourself? What do you think about yourself? That is what matters. It doesn't matter what others are thinking about you. I have this simple rule, and I will share that rule with you. If you are in a business, or even if you're in a job, I'm not sure, but yeah, like I always thought that no one's putting food on my plate. And if no one's putting food on my plate, I do not need to care about what people are thinking about me, because that is their problem of life. That if they do not like me, that's their problem. I do not remember which one is this Hollywood star. I'm not sure, but he said this something amazing. I think that's coming to my mind. I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't remember it. But he said, who was it? I don't remember. But he said something like that if you are if you are leaving a message about complaining about me, first of all, if you know me so well that you're upset about me, give me talk to me. Do not just leave a message. And if you do not know me well enough to talk to me, then you should not have a problem with me. Isn't that so beautiful? To free yourself. And I think the whole thing is to free yourself, because when you can free yourself from mistaken identity of what people are thinking about me, what is the world thinking about me, what does my past define me as? Maybe right now you have this concept about yourself from the past. Like if I give you my example, I do not know about you, but if I give you my example, oh, I'm a failure. Why? Because I'm 42, I've not achieved anything in my life. This is what the thoughts were in my mind. Oh, I am a victim of life. That was the label I had given myself because that was my opinion about myself. Oh, I am not a good mother. I'm not a good wife. Why? Because I cannot fulfill all of these things. So all of those were the titles or tags or identities that I had placed upon myself, right? Because I was always living in my past. So when you're living in your past, you are thinking from that place, right? And that's what I was doing. I was always thinking about, I'm a victim of abuse. I'm a victim of this. I'm a victim of life. Life was always happening to me. So all of that was my opinion about life. And because that was my opinion about myself, I was creating my life from that. So I had to let go of all of this. I had to let go of what my past was telling me. I had to let go of my past to define where I was going to go in my life and where I was not going in my life. Why? Because when I had I would say, low self-esteem about myself, such a low concept about myself, it was such a poor self-image I had about myself. I only thought I don't deserve the best in my life. I do not deserve anything good. I only deserve the bare minimum. That was my image about myself. And because that's what I expected to happen, that was happening in my life. I expected the worst. I expected bare minimum in my life. So I had to let go of all of those thoughts. I had to let go of my past to control my present. I had to start taking control of my present to shape my future. And how do we do that? We do that by, first of all, where am I going? Remember, on day one, I spoke about your suitcase will be packed according to where you are going. If you're going on a beach holiday, you need summer clothes. You're not going to pack winter ski clothes. But if you were going for a ski trip, you are going to then pack your suitcase according to that. So first, get to know where you're going, because your identity also needs to match that. So if you are like, yeah, I want to go, a ski trip and maybe become the best skier in the world. I do not know. I do not know how to ski, by the way. So not sure even if I'm interested. I'm not sure. Maybe I am. I'll have to think about it. But I love beaches. Definitely. That is my go-to place, right? I love being near the water. I love being near the nature. So that is something I would love. So I need to then that's my identity, right? Because can you see now how my identity, I see myself straight away from that place, and I will then connect to that then. So it's very important to have the right identity, a winning image about yourself, not what your past is telling you, but what you want in your future. It has to match that. So stop thinking about what people are thinking about you. We are always seeking validation. We are always looking for opinion. What do you think? What is your advice? Why? Think about what is your self-image if you can't make small decisions. Think about what is your self-image telling you when you always seeking other people's opinions and advice in your life. It's picking up, I can't make a decision. I can't make, maybe I do not know enough. I do not trust myself, because it's coming from a lack of trust. You trust other people more than you trust yourself. You are giving validation to other people's opinion more than you're actually validating yourself. A lot of people I see, they want to be loved in life, but are you loving yourself? Have you accepted yourself first? That's my question to you, because you're asking others to accept you, but have you accepted yourself for who you are? With all the flaws, probably you think, although I believe we are not flawed, we don't have any flaws because we are made in God creation. Yes, things happen in life, and that's all part of our soul's evolution, but we are actually pure in God's image. And I think that's when I started seeing myself from that place, that who am I in Creator's image? In my Creator's image, I'm pure. I have all the talent and ability that I need to be where I want to be in my life. When you start creating that self-image and start stepping into that self-image, you are creating a winning self-image. But when you're seeking for everyone's validation, when you're seeking for other people's opinion, shall I do this? Shall I do that? You decide what you want in your life, because that is a losing game. That's a dumb game to play in life. So you need to create a winning game in your life. I love this, that life is a game. You need to learn how to win that game. Right now, are you winning in your life? If not, you need to start making decisions for yourself. You need to start asking yourself, what do I want in my life? Not what my parents want, not what my siblings want, not what society expects of me, not what my partner wants. What do I want? Think about it. Today, if your partner is saying no to you, won't you regret in 5 years' time if nothing had changed in your life? Who's responsible if nothing changes in your life? You. No one else. It's you. I was responsible if nothing changed in my life, and I'm responsible if I do not grow now. It's my responsibility. My life is my responsibility. Your life is your responsibility. It's not anyone else's responsibility. And that's why you need to make a committed decision for yourself. The other point is end judgment. We were not born with judgment, right? You learn to judge. We did not come by judging ourselves. You're right. Like, oh my gosh, I'm a baby. Look at me. I'm all naked. Did we judge ourselves? No, we did not. Right? We probably peed, we did poo, we did everything, and we were still smiling because we didn't judge ourselves. A baby, lies there naked, doesn't judge. Is not judging the parents. Is not judging anyone. So we were born free from this judgment. But in this life, we start judging itself. And judgment is a goal killer. Why? Because what are you doing? Oh, you're judging yourself all the time. Oh, look at them. They have reached there. I have not. So many people are ahead of me. I am not. And all of that judgment is literally stopping you. It's killing your goal. It's literally killing your goal. So you need to stop judging yourself. You also need to stop judging others. There is nothing worse than judging yourself in life. How do I know? Because I did it for 42 plus years of my life. I judged and I judged and I judged myself. This happened to me because of this. I'm a bad person. I am this. I am, I don't deserve the best. And all of those. Because if you negatively look upon yourself, you will never go forward in a positive way. Like Gups was sharing about that. We all do, by the way. We all have this such a negative inner self dialogue that we are judging ourselves. We are criticizing ourselves. And that's what we keep recreating again and again. So ask yourself, where did this judgment come from? And today it's a part of your life. It's a habit. We are creatures of habit. What habits do you have? Do you have habits of a critic self-image, critic inner dialogue? You're always criticizing yourself, or you have a winning self-image? So where did you pick this up from? Of course, we picked it from our environment, because maybe our parents, maybe our grandparents, they were always judging the family members. They were judging others. They were judging you. They were judging everyone. So we have picked up on that habit. Is that habit right? No, it's not. It's not right to have that. Why? Because we are really killing our goal. We are seeing ourselves from such a wrong place, which we should not. We are all beautiful creatures, beautiful, made in God's image. So why to judge? So can you see how we need to let go of all of this mistaken identity first, whether it's seeking judgment, whether it is getting seeking approval, whether it is letting go of the past, overthinking, stop making things in our mind. All of this needs to go because this is your psycho-cybernetic system. So to create a new self-image, let go of this, and then let's create a new self-image, which matches your goal. Because that self-image, of course, think about it. If you want to be a multimillionaire, if you want to be someone with great health, great relationships, how do they see themselves? Do they see themselves like you are doing currently? Oh, I'm a failure because this did not work. Do you think Elon Musk thought that before using so much money of government funding and all of that, before he said anything out there? No. Do you think any like the spaceships that are sent, they think, oh my gosh, one was a failure, we can't do another one? Because there will be no improvement in the world. There will be no, big achievements in life then. Major achievements. Why? Because they will always be judging themselves. This did not happen right in the past. No. So look at the people that you admire. What type of self-image do they have? They do not have judgment. They do not seek people's approval. Do you get Donald Trump or anyone seeking approval at your door? Do you expect your prime minister seeking approval on your door all every day? No. Do you see Hollywood stars, whether you like my movie or not, they create the movie. And if it doesn't run, they make another one. But they don't ask you. They don't ask anyone. Can you see how it is so important to let go of all of this, to create a new self-image? And then from that self-image, you start embodying that new self-image. And how do you do that? 24-hour window. You start being that person in a 24-hour window. So that's what I want you all to start doing, creating a new self-image. But before that, let go. So this is a self-image formula. Who would like the self-image formula? Let me know in the DM. I'll send this formula to you, the 6-step formula that you need to do. So make sure you drop me a message in the chat. If you're watching it on the recording, DM me, send me an email. I will more than happy to send you this formula, because this is so important for you to understand about self-image, that how I need to let go of all of this to step into this new image of mine. And I would again say, I know we are coming to the end of this challenge, and I am so sad. So I've got certain reminders for you that I want to remind you. So remember what all we have discussed this week, right? You can decide whether you want to do it by yourself. Maybe you would like us to help you on that journey. Whatever you decide, but make a decision that you will do something about it. It doesn't matter whether you do it by yourself, whether you do it with us, whether you do it with someone else. But what you have to decide is that you are not going to be where you are today. You're not going to accept that. You are going to actually raise your standards of life, and you're going to go after what you really want. That's what I want from you all. So let me know in the chat if that's the decision you're going to make today, that yes, I am actually going to make that decision, a committed decision, that I'm not going to stay stuck where I am. I'm going to do something about it. That is what you need to do first. And when you do that, then of course the universe will bring you the things. You can decide, I want to do it by myself. I want to do it with someone else. And that is absolutely fine. Oh, you're very, very welcome, Marian. So guys, I want you to make that decision that I will, because change is possible for you. Your life is waiting for you. What are you waiting for? So if you've not booked the call, the link is in the description of our calendar. I will be, maybe after this call, I will update with some more times. They will only be for this week, and only very few, because I already have a very occupied calendar. That's how I'm going to put it. So I've really enjoyed this, by the way, guys. I am so grateful to each and every one of you. I'm not sure if you've received your gifts by now, but you will be in a day or two. When you receive them, take a picture, tag us, tag me on social media. I would love that. If you're not following me on social media, do follow me there as well, but do book a call, because I think it's so important for you to book a call for yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself. And I have absolutely enjoyed this. Also, another reminder, all the recordings, if you've missed a day, or if you would love to go back and watch all the recordings, they're all available until tomorrow midnight. Tomorrow midnight, they will all come off. So make sure that you watch them, make as many notes, do your work, send us pictures. It will be really good to see that homework. And I'm still happy to post if more people do their work. I'll more than happy to send you the gratitude journals. But do the work. Do the work for yourself, guys. Life is too short. You do not want to have any regrets. That's how I'm going to end this today. But it's been an absolutely pleasure. I have loved every single day of it. I've absolutely loved this. So thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, really looking forward to speaking with you, all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it. Love you all. I'm wishing you all an abundance of happiness, joy in your life, and go create the life that you really want for yourself.